Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and I'm here with another book review today. The book I'm going to be reviewing is Birnham Wood by Eleanor Catton. I picked this one up because it was longlisted and later shortlisted for the Giller Prize this year, and it was the one that I was the most excited about actually. And it very much lived up to the hype for me. This book follows an anarchist gardening collective in New Zealand that plants crops in a not so legal way on both public and private property to later sell or use amongst themselves. This is often done without anyone else's knowledge, and it is for both political and practical uses. However, this collective is not able to really make money very well this way, and because it is pretty much volunteer run, they're really worried that they're going to run out of money soon and not be able to continue their work. However, when the founder of the collective goes to explore an abandoned property near a site that recently experienced an earthquake, she meets a billionaire who is very interested in their collective and their efforts, and he essentially offers to sponsor them in a sense, or really fund them, and offers them a lot of money. The founder, Mira, and the billionaire, Robert, do strike a deal, but not everyone is very happy about this in the collective, and perhaps not everything is as it seems. This book explores trust, power, different kind of relationship dynamics, and seeing how far people will go to achieve their goals. It also follows various perspectives that I'm just going to run through very quickly because I think they're all very integral to the novel, and honestly I didn't expect to have so many different viewpoints in this book. I thought it was largely just going to be Mira's perspective. So of course we do have Mira. She is the founder. She's essentially the leader of the group, even though they try not to function in a sort of like leader hierarchy kind of way. She's very charismatic, very persistent. She knows what she wants. I think she's a little bit narcissistic as well. She definitely, some of her flaws are out there full force. She's very passionate about what she does, but she doesn't take on all the sort of menial tasks around what she should be doing. She does leave that off to some other group members to follow along, like with some more of the exciting things that her collective does. And she's always very sure that she's right. She just gives off that kind of vibe. Then we have her second in command, Shelley, who's her roommate and another longtime member of the collective, Birnham Wood. And Shelley's kind of looking for a way out. She's been with the collective from its very early stages. It seems honestly kind of to like spite her mother, who's very sort of like neat and narrow, follow like a normative path in your life kind of person. And Shelley's kind of doing this sort of very rebellious thing, but she's getting tired of it. She's one of those people that does do a lot of the more bureaucratic aspects that need to be done that Mira's not interested in. And she kind of wants that to stop, but she feels bad leaving when the group is in such a dire spot. So this new sort of donation or support from the billionaire kind of puts things in a different light for her, and it kind of gives her a way out, though she does not immediately leave, and she does follow along to plant things on this abandoned property that they found. We also have Tony. He was a previous member of Birnham Wood, one of the founding members as well, but he has left New Zealand for some time and has now just returned. He and Mira sort of had a weird romance situation that didn't last very long, but there are definitely still feelings to be had, and he is somebody who does not agree with taking money from the billionaire for Birnham Wood, and he goes so far to try to investigate what is going on this property and with this billionaire and see why is he trying to give so much money. Like, Tony really does not trust the billionaire Robert. We also have the perspective of Lady and Sir Darvish. They are the ones who own this abandoned property. It is essentially abandoned in the sense that they are not using it, which is why Mira thinks that it would be a great idea to go there to make use of it because no one's really visiting, and if they do ever get caught, it might be good publicity anyway. But they are trying to sell this property. They do have this deal with the billionaire. They have their own sort of business that they think they can have like a quid pro quo relationship with the billionaire. And yeah, they sort of have their own reasons for doing things, but they are pretty unaware of Birnham Wood. And of course we have the billionaire, Robert Lemoyne, who is from the start a little bit of a shady and interesting character. He's very tech savvy. He's very much like a I will get whatever I want kind of person. He is a billionaire after all, and he did not give me like the greatest vibes, but I was very curious as to why he wanted to make like have a relationship with this collective. And he's very interested in buying this property to build his doomsday bunker. But you start to wonder if there's not more than meets the eye with him as well. His company is like a drone manufacturing company. He's very familiar with that technology as well, and that plays an interesting role in the story. Technology in general does cause some of the sort of miscommunications in the story, and I don't think that they're actually very annoying. I've definitely said before how much I hate certain miscommunications or misunderstandings between characters, especially when things end up turning into like an argument or really derailing after that. But this one was done a little bit better and much more interesting, with like someone sending a text but it wasn't read in time or at all. The use of the drones, which I won't get into too much, I don't want this to be too spoilery, was also very interesting. characters making like different uses of technology, with some choosing to forego it for various reasons and others not. This book has been described as an eco-thriller, as a bit political. I think it is literary fiction at its best. It is just a huge like tale that goes in directions that you don't expect, and it is political. I think it does ask a lot of questions or have us consider things that maybe we do need to question some of our views. Birnham Wood is presented as kind of a radical group. However, they all very quickly take Robert Lemoyne's money, despite Tony's some of like very good points as to maybe why they shouldn't, why they should be more wary. He calls it essentially blood money, that this billionaire is getting money in very unsavory ways through exploitation. I mean, he specializes in drones, that's surveillance that is used in wars. Tony is not having any of this, and I think sometimes the way Tony communicates himself is not always the best. He comes off as a little bit of a weenie, like he has these very strong convictions, but he's not always expressing himself correctly, and he also has this sort of drive and ambition as well, where he gives off vibes where he also feels like he's a little bit better than everyone else. Like he has these goals, he wants to be a journalist, he wants to kind of expose this story of what is happening with the billionaire, with the property, and he'll kind of stop at nothing to do that. However, he does raise some good points, but Mira does as well. She essentially says like, well, without this money, the group might as well be over and we won't be able to go on much longer. The sort of work we're doing will just end, and that's unfortunate too. They are doing a pretty cool thing. They are making a statement by using public and private land, like when it is otherwise unused, to be planting food that could just be distributed in a sort of like mutual way. But can we trust billionaires? Can we trust this billionaire in particular? And can he trust the group? What is the sort of dynamic between these people? This book and the collective are named after a line in Macbeth. However, I don't think you need to be super familiar with the play to get a lot out of it. And while I did read Macbeth in high school and I had a teacher who was very passionate about it and made me very interested in the play as well, this was more than 10 years ago. I don't really remember it very well, but I still feel like I not only enjoyed but still got a lot of the themes out of this book anyway. I think the main themes of ambition, of trying to get power, which then can lead to downfall, are the themes that are the most important and prevalent in this book. And that's really like the sort of main foreshadowing from Macbeth to Birnham Wood, and all that does build up to what is a very thrilling and honestly still unexpected ending. Even if you do know these main themes of Macbeth or how Macbeth ends, there is a lot you might not expect out of the ending for this book. And I was just hooked. A lot of people might say that the start of this book is a little bit slow because it is going over a lot of these characters' lives, motivations, jobs, the things they do either in Birnham Wood or outside of it. So there is a lot of that sort of preamble, which I didn't mind. I like a good character building like novel, so I was cool with that, but I know some people found it a little bit more boring. It is a long book, and if 200 or so pages of that taken up by character building, maybe that's not for everyone. But the last 150 are extremely exciting. You're really wondering again where this is gonna go. And the last 5 pages, oh my goodness, there just felt like there was so much that needed to be wrapped up still. You didn't really know which direction things were heading in. You were following a character who yes, has been followed throughout the book, of course, but you're like, what is that person's perspective necessarily gonna help with like tying up all these other things? You're like, there are at least like 3 characters who are like still on the hook for something who you wanna get back to, and it's like, what is going to happen? Like, it is such a tiny part of the book left, and I will say it does wrap up well. To me, again, it was unexpected, but very well done. I really enjoyed this whole book and this ending. I think it all came together so perfectly. This might be my pick for the winner of the Giller Prize this year. I've read all the books now and they've all been really good in their own ways, but I think this is the one that gripped me the most and that I think was just one of the best, like the most well done. I know Eleanor Catton has another book that, her first book I think, that came out 10 years ago, The Luminaries, which I hadn't heard too much about. I've seen it around like bookstores and libraries and just never really picked it up. But I heard it's really great too, and after reading this, I might check that out, although I think it takes place in a very different time period. And so I'm very excited to see like what she does with that as well, because this one again has like such a reliance on technology and kind of like the modern like culture that we're growing up in. So very specific kind of commentary on that. And I'm curious what else she has to say. Have you read Birnham Wood? Are you interested in it? If you have read it, I'd be really curious to hear what your thoughts are. I've read a lot of reviews on this book. I've watched a couple of review videos as well, but I would love to talk about it further with others. If you're following the Giller Prize in particular, is this a book that you want to see win? Do you think it deserves that win or maybe not? I also would be very curious to hear about that. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. Maybe share with a bookish friend of yours. That would mean so much to me as always. I'll be back next week talking more about the Giller Prize as the winner is announced. I'm very excited for that. And until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah, catch you later.